Hi, it's Manny Bagga with the Bagga team from Royal LePage Magna.
And Cameron Bullock with the Buyer's Choice Home Inspections, the A team.
Welcome back to week number 8. We are in a basement for last 3 weeks, just exploring all those small fun parts for the home. People don't know, pay attention. Those small little things makes the big difference. When I go to on inspections, Cameron comes down with his checklist. He say, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. So Cameron, what are we talking this week?
We are talking about a sump pump.
How important sump pump play a role in this home?
Quite important. This can actually save your basement from being flooded.
Wow.
So
hopefully when you are in the spring season, if this sump pump is not working properly, your whole basement, you spend like 50, 60, 80,000, or some people even spend $200,000. That can be damaged by this small little component. It's called sump pump. So sump pump, Cameron, tell us, like when you come to the home and you inspect, how do you inspect this one, and what do you see that, hey, it's a working or not working? I got a lot of objections in our inspections that, hey, my sump pump need to be replaced. How do you identify it?
Okay, so the biggest thing about a sump pump is it's underneath the flooring system. Okay, so the sump pump is connected to what's called weeping tile, which is around the house. It's a pipe with a whole bunch of little holes.
Okay.
When the builder turns around and builds the house, they put that down at the base of the foundation, put gravel over top of it, and it runs literally around the house and back to this sump pump here.
So it does have a small little pit inside?
Yes.
So those all sump pump are attached to this pit, and pit has a small little pump inside, is that correct?
Correct.
So that pump, because now I can see the pit is all dry, there's no water or anything. Is that normal?
It depends on the area. So the water in the pump, or in the barrel here, comes from basically the water table in the area.
Okay.
So if you have a low water table,
Okay.
so if there is, basically that means hardly any water,
Okay.
then the sump pump probably won't run very often. Okay, if you have a higher water table, of course the water is going to be higher in the ground, then your sump pump will probably be running quite often. In the springtime is usually what we're more concerned about, because now we have snow melt, water runoff, and so there's potential for every house in the city to have water around it or underneath it. And that's when you want to make sure that you're testing your sump pumps to make sure that it's ready for the season. Okay. So
in the simple words, all surrounding your whole home, when if it's a rain or snow got melt, the snow penetrated into your ground, and then there is a weeping tile all around. Weeping tile has those pipe, and the weeping tile connected, and with this one, if there's a surplus water, it's got penetrated in here. Sump pump works, and then he's throw it out. And where that water goes?
So once again, it depends on the age of the home.
Okay.
The newer homes are actually built into a storm sewer system, which the city takes away from the areas. The older homes, they'll actually just pipe it outside, and that's when you see sometimes the pipes running out to the street because they want to get it to the drains and stuff like that.
Okay.
But for the most part, it just gets it up and out and away from the house.
Perfect. So how we can test it, as if I'm a layman, I do not know, and how you test it.
Okay, so there's a couple of different things that we have here.
Okay.
So this system here has a double plug.
Okay.
Okay, so this back plug actually will override the system and just run the pump itself.
Okay.
This one here is connected to the float.
Okay.
And I'll show you the float in a minute. So
Okay.
we could actually unplug this.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
plug this in.
Oh wow.
And it will run the pump.
So that the pump, it's called direct. So just
Correct.
to test this one, if I'm a layman, just to take unplug and put it in the plug in this one, so it will turn the pump on, so it shows me the pump is working.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, the proper way to test the pump is to put these back together.
Okay. So both, male or female plug, both together.
Correct. And then what we're going to do.
So you have a special rod.
I actually built this. This is a hot dog stick from the dollar store.
Oh wow.
And it's just so that I don't have to stick my hand down in the hole all the time.
Wow, that's genius.
But this is what I want to test.
So that this small like a plug needed to be, once this floating thing goes up, water comes up, and then the pump will kicks in and take the water away.
Correct. There's a little switch inside that float.
Oh, I
and
see.
so if the float itself doesn't work, then the pump won't work.
Cameron, can you just show us back again one more time,
Yep.
please?
So,
Okay, so this small little pump. Okay, so this one. Oh, I see. So I can see the pump is all turning on.
right. So it's that's going to float on the water.
Okay.
Right. So as the barrel fills with water, then that float will actually raise up vertically.
Oh, wow.
And when it gets up to the top, it'll turn on. And as the water drains and goes back down, it'll shut itself off, and it just goes for the ride, and it just turns the pump on and on. So that's the thing we want to make sure that's working inside the pump.
Perfect.
Okay.
So if you guys have a higher water table, might your sump pump will be working more. But if you have a less water table, might will be working less, because some of the pits are all dried out. You don't need to worry about anything else. So think, like, how do you know that if the sump pump is not working? What is the indicator that this sump pump is dead or it's not working?
Basically by testing it just like what we did, and that's what's recommended to basically to open this up.
Okay.
For sure in the spring, we recommend a couple of times during the year.
Okay.
Not to cover this up. We find this covered with washing machines and dryers and personal everything.
Yeah.
So make sure it's accessible so that you can test this a couple of times during the year.
Oh yeah.
So that's probably the biggest thing, is just to make sure that float is working. If the float is doing its job, even if it's dry, then it'll always do what it's supposed to do.
I really like it that this one has a clear plate.
Yep.
So clear plate is going to indicate it to you that you can see right at the top. You don't even need to take all the screws away. So you can see if the water is there or not there. That's another helpful tip for you, all the viewers. And on the same token, you need to check this one like 2 times in a year.
Minimum 2. It's recommended spring, just before the snow starts to melt, because we know we're going to get a lot of water.
Okay.
And then we recommend July or August to make sure that it's still doing its job during the middle of the summer.
Perfect. So now we already identified that this is very important, and then we know how to test it. So think if I needed to change a brand new sump pump, how much would I save it up for it?
It's going to be anywhere from probably about $250 to about $500-600, somewhere in there. Some of these systems actually have what's called a one-way check valve.
Okay.
So they'll actually, and that'll be put in the pipe, so that when you pump the water up, gravity always works on the pipe and it brings the water back down again. But sometimes they'll put a check valve so that when water goes up, it stays up. It doesn't come back down into the barrel again. So there's different systems and different things that can be done to it, but on average, about $250 to about $500-600 on the pump.
So hopefully that's gonna make you helpful, that hey, to save it up a brand new sump pump, it costs somewhere $250 to upwards $600. It depends the area, it depends how deep that is, it depends what kind of sump pump you are going to be put it in here, but save it up at this moment. Those are the components you definitely need to know. Anything else we need to discuss about it?
No, that's pretty much it for this one.
I have another tip, because one of my other clients has a alarm system set up with their sump pump.
Very true.
What is that?
Well, there's a couple of components that you can add to it. So there's alarm systems, basically they can set up here. So that's if the water level bypasses and the pump quits working, and it gets too high, the alarm will go off, and it'll either be connected to your security system, so you can get it on your phone if you're wherever you are in the world or at work. The other one is backup power. Okay, because of course if we have power outage, we lose power, then this isn't going to work. So there are battery packs that you can connect to the plug. This will plug into the battery pack, so the battery pack has got constant power to it. So you have that backup power to make sure that your sump pump's going to do its job when needed.
Perfect. So that will also save you a lot of grief if you are a homeowner or you're a home buyer. Definitely invest those things in this one, because this is a small investment. It could be like, let's say $500 investment, but it can save you $100,000 of your basement development if it's a development and it's not done. So hopefully this tip will be helpful for you. If you have any questions, Cameron and his whole team is all dedicated to you to answer all your questions. If they need to have any questions, Cameron, regarding the sump pump or any related to it, where are they going to reach out to you?
780-900-9003.
Hey, Cameron and his team is one of the nicest and thorough team who done the proper inspection, every aspect of the home. They do that. But hopefully this will help. If you think that this will be helpful for you or your any loved one, make sure comment below how do you like it. Then distribute it or share and like it. That's what myself and Cameron always looking for it. But again, next week we'll bring you our next tip. Stay tuned. Week number 9 is coming next week. But if you guys have any questions, call us today, 780-431-5615 or visit www.manibagga.com. Love you guys all. Stay blessed. Stay smiling. I'll see you next week.